Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. This is Property Management 101, and for today's topic, we're going to be discussing first visits for regional managers, part 2. If you've not seen my part 1 on this topic, I would highly recommend watching this before watching this video. This video really builds on the principles and the items and topics discussed in part 1. I will post a link to that video at the end of this video. I'll also provide a link to that video in the video description, and I'll also provide one in the top corner of the page now. Again, I would highly recommend watching those 5 topics we discussed in the first video regarding this topic. If you decide to move forward and continue watching part 2 to this topic, that is fine, but keep in mind there will be some things that will be a little confusing. This is due to a lot of the topics we talk about today are really building on the principles discussed in part 1. Now, here are 3 additional points that I want to bring up that I think will be helpful for any regional manager that is visiting their asset for the first time. Number 6, you really want to follow up with the team. I highly recommend sending 2 separate emails when it comes to this follow-up. The first email should go to everyone on the team that you visited with during your visit at that particular property. Thank them for the time, thank them for the opportunity to provide you with feedback. Also thank them for everything that they do to make that asset great. This shows a really deep level of appreciation. It'll help build positive culture. It'll allow you and that team to start to build a good relationship together. The second email that I would send out regarding this follow-up is I'd send it to the property manager. You're going to want to discuss things that were outlined that you addressed that you noticed during your visit. You want to provide them market information of things that you saw in the market. You also want to share things about the property and also about the team itself. And lastly, you really want to make sure that you're sharing with them every opportunity that this is going to be really important when it comes to making sure those items are addressed. Thank you for watching this video. Just by you viewing this video and our other videos supports the YouTube algorithm and allows our videos to get in front of more property management operators. If you want to continue to show your support, we would greatly appreciate if you like, subscribe, and share this video with others. Thank you again. And the 7th good practice that I would recommend is planning for your next visit. So this is really building on everything you observed on your first visit. This is going to be really important. You start to prepare for your next visit as far as the things that you want to address when you go back to that particular asset. As you're having regular meetings with that property manager between the first visit and the second visit, you want to make sure you outline to them what the expectation is for everything that you address. You want to make sure that they understand that they need to follow up with you on a regular basis about the status of particular items, and hopefully they let you know when these items are all 100% complete. And the goal would be to complete all these items as quickly as possible, but I know some items may take longer than others. And if that property manager is able to complete some of those items by your next visit, this is a great thing to start adding to your agenda to inspect those items that they're saying that are completed. This will give you and them a good opportunity for them to see your standard as a regional manager, build the trust dynamic between you two, and also give them feedback as far as this item in particular. And if the item is in great shape and it's to your standard, then great. Let them know how much you appreciate their work and their follow through on that particular item. For anything that is not complete, or maybe they stated it was complete, but it's not complete to your standards, these are things I would add to your list on your regular meetings that you're meeting with that property manager. It's gonna be really important. Everyone is on the same page when it comes to standards and these things getting completed. And the 8th topic when it comes to this topic in particular is you want to start establishing a routine for your visits. Between your first visit and the end of your second visit, this should start giving you as a regional manager a certain list of items that you want to address every single time you go to that particular property. Now, as a regional manager, you're probably going to want to start to develop some routine as far as things you do every time you visit a property, but every property is going to have different dynamics to it that'll be hard to have the exact same agenda at every single property you go and visit. Each site that's under your portfolio may have things that are different about that particular market. You may have different investors throughout your portfolio, different strategies, different lending requirements. Also, your product may not be consistent throughout your whole portfolio. So these are all things you want to consider as far as developing an agenda of things you want to address, where you want to walk, with things you want to discuss with the property manager each time you go and visit that particular property in that market. Now, once you've established a routine for that particular asset, I would be very transparent with that property manager and share your particular agenda that you would like to discuss and review every single time you visit the property. This property manager will appreciate this level of transparency. They'll also have a good idea as far as what to prepare for. This will help save you time and make your trip as efficient as possible. Now for a video recap today. Please keep in mind these 3 additional points when it comes to regional managers that visit their asset for the first time. Number 6, you want to make sure you're following up with the team after that first visit. I highly recommend sending out multiple emails. One email is going to go to the entire team that you met with, thanking them for their time, thanking them for the feedback, and thanking them for the job that they do every day at that asset. This is going to be really good to start to develop positive culture and a positive relationship between you and them. The second email that you want to send out as part of this follow-up is directly to the property manager. This is going to be sharing most of the things that you've discussed with them when you visited, but also share some additional things you didn't have the time for. Maybe it's about market information of feedback about the staff there or the property. And lastly, you want to make sure you share with them particular opportunities you found at their given property to ensure it's positioned the best way it can for the highest level of performance possible. Number 7, you really want to make sure you start to plan for your next trip to that particular property. This is going to be really important because the things you discussed and found at your first trip, you should start to make sure that you review those items and see if there's any improvements or things being considered from your first visit. If the team maybe addresses them, but maybe doesn't address them to your standard, this is a great opportunity to inspect those items during your second visit. This will start to allow the team to see your standard as the regional manager to ensure everyone is on the same page when it comes to that. And lastly, number 8, you want to establish between your first visit and the end of your second visit a routine when you go to that particular asset. Every single asset is different, has different lenders, has different market conditions, has different layouts to the property. And this is why as a regional, you can't have the same routine for every single property you go and visit. There may be aspects that may be the same as far as meeting with the team, meeting with the property manager, walking the property. But as far as things that you need to discuss or review with the team, there's always going to be some slight differences. This is why it's going to be really important that you start to develop a routine for that given asset. What does it need from a leasing perspective, a rent growth perspective, a online presence perspective, and reputation perspective? Every asset's going to be slightly different. So this is why as a regional manager, you should recognize those differences and making sure you're spending time where it's most needed that given asset. Thank you for watching till the end of the video. I hope this video provided at least one valuable tip for you and your teams. Your feedback is very important to us. Please leave a comment if you have any suggestions as far as how can we improve this video, or if you have any questions, or if there's aspects of this video that you felt that we left out on this subject. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to show your support, please feel free to like the video as well as comment what your favorite part of the video was. Happy leasing!